Ubaldo Jimenez is a bright, handsome young man whose fluorescent smile and immense talent is a Madison Avenue dream. And at 26, he's just in the first quarter of a career that promises many inspiring moments. Got the sign. Here's the 1-2. Ground ball to second. Vargas to first. Ubaldo Jimenez has no hit. The Atlanta Braves. The first no-hitter in Rockies history. Tonight, one start removed from baseball immortality. Ubaldo will fire darts at National League West rival Arizona. Extreme heat in the Rockies is next. The snow is in the rear view mirror, and it is a beautiful evening in lower downtown Denver. We are set for baseball. Game 2 of this 3-game set between the Rockies and their rivals from the desert, the Arizona Diamondbacks. Hey, good evening, everybody. With George Frazier, I'm Drew Goodman. Yesterday in Game 1, went to Arizona. Dan Herron, you tip your cap. He pitched very well. But tonight, the Rockies counter with one Ubaldo Jimenez. And last time I checked, he's pretty good.
16 1/3 scoreless innings at one point this year for Ubaldo Jimenez. And again, this is a guy that's just going to overpower people, as he has. He can do it with 4 pitches. This is a true number 1 in anybody's lineup in starting rotation. And again, you're talking about a guy that can blow your way with a fastball, yet when he has the curveball and the changeup working. And the other thing I notice about him more than anything on the mound this year is his calm presence and how it feeds to the rest of his teammates in a comforting zone that they feel like, I get one run, this game's over with, Ubaldo will handle it.
Ubaldo is 4-0 this year with an ERA under 1, so he'll go for a 5-0 start. He'll be opposed by Edwin Jackson. People may remember him from his L.A. Dodger days. George, he was an all-star last year with the Detroit Tigers.
13-9 last year with the Detroit Tigers. A very good fastball, slider change, kind of a complete mix. Swings the bat extremely well. He hit a home run already this year with some RBIs. Very good slider, but an extremely explosive fastball. He's come into his own pitching into the American League. The one thing he's learned here, don't be afraid of mixing in a sinker every now and then. He gets carried away with a four-seam thinking he can blow it by everybody, and that's where he's had some trouble. Big arm, should be an interesting game.
Two guys who can light up the radar gun. Ubaldo Jimenez for the Rockies, Edwin Jackson for Arizona. Coming up, we'll talk a little bit more about this one. There have been a number of roster moves we have to get you updated on. Stick around. 10 that threw 20 ball games this year. A trio of moves to tell you about. Back upstairs with George Frazier. I'm Drew Goodman. The Rockies, as you probably are aware, have a couple of injuries to two starters. Jason Hamill and Jorge De La Rosa placed on the disabled list today, and brought up in their place Yolis Chacin, who will make a start on Sunday. Juan Rincon, because the bullpen's had a lot of action lately. They've been terrific. And maybe the most surprising move of all, Chris Iannetta. A couple of big home runs this year, but he struggled other than that. He was sent to AAA. Paul Phillips brought up, George.
Well, a veteran guy, 31 years old. He's been to the big leagues before. He knows this pitching that they have here with the Rockies. So it's an opportunity for him to come up and back up a very hot bat in Oliva that's hitting the ball out of the ballpark. And it's an opportunity for Chris Iannetta to go down to the minor leagues and find his stroke, get comfortable behind the plate. As Jim said now, I mean, Jim Tracy made a comment today before the ball game. I don't like his swings. He doesn't look comfortable with his swings. It's an opportunity to go there, play every single day, get the swing back, and then you hope for the best, because this is obviously somebody you felt was going to be a part of this puzzle.
It's a pretty good possibility you'll see Esmil Rogers in the not-too-distant future as well. Hey, the strength of a team is the depth of an organization. The Rockies have a great deal of that. We're set for baseball. It's Text to Booth night. Rockies and Diamondbacks. Come on back to 20th and Blake with us. FSN is brought to you by Quest High-Speed Internet. Get blazing fast speeds that won't burn up your wallet. By E470, it's easy to use and adds value to your life. By the Ford F-150, it's not just a pickup truck, it's a Ford F-150. Drive one. And by Grainger, with over 900,000 products for the ones who get it done. Man, it's beautiful out. Temperature, at least a little while ago, in the low 70s. Rockies, Game 5 of a 6-game homestand. They'll head to San Francisco on Thursday. Thursday is an off day. Rockies toward the tail end of a stretch of playing 16 ball games in 16 days. And at the beginning of a long stretch of everyday baseball, the Arizona Diamondbacks, they will play 20 ball games in 20 days. That's Kelly Johnson. He's been swinging a great bat here in the month of April. He'll be followed in the lineup presented by Southwest.com by Steve and Drew. Justin Upton will bat in the 3-hole. Big Mark Reynolds will bat cleanup. Adam LaRoche, a 3-run home run in the first inning last night. Chris Young, Gerardo Parra in left field. Good hitter. Chris Snyder will bat 8th, and then Edwin Jackson, who, as George described, is not an easy out. And on the hill, that man, Ubaldo Jimenez, focused, and immensely talented. He'll lead the Rockies onto the field. Let's take a look at his scouting report, George.
Well, we always seem to put up on the numbers here. 92, 99. He will touch 100 at times. 79 to 83 mile an hour. Curveball, slider, change, all the mixes you need. And for most starting pitchers, some you'll watch, they'll have a difficult first inning. Typically give up a run here and there. Not Ubaldo Jimenez. Ubaldo Jimenez, 16 for pitches 16 through 60. Think about this. They're hitting 081 against Ubaldo. He's been able to really control the running game with men in scoring position, making pitches to get out of situations. You don't want to get 0-2 against him because then you're going to hit a $136. It gets ugly.
Well, he's no fun if you're 2-0, much less 0-2. Defensively, Seth Smith is in left field, Dexter Fowler in center, and Carlos Gonzalez in right. Stuart Tulowitzki left side. Eric Young getting a start at second base. Todd Helton is next to him. And Miguel Olivo, he'll start the vast majority now behind the plate with Chris Iannetta down in Colorado Springs for the time being. Let's take a look at the Suzuki keys to the game.
Jimenez, Jackson, you'd say these two starters, young starters, an all-star from last year, Edwin Jackson at 13-9 with Detroit. And then Jimenez going to take the mound for the Rockies. He has pitched brilliantly, there's no question. The addition to the bullpen after working 6 strong innings yesterday, just 1 hit and 7 strikeouts. Now you're going to add some depth to it with Shashin and Rincon, a veteran.
Ubaldo Jimenez, I'll tell you an interesting story about him right after we tell you about Domino's. First pitch is brought to you every night by Domino's Pizza. Text keyword pizza followed by a space and your name to 95323 to receive your Domino's special offer and to be entered to win a pizza party for 15. One weekly winner will be chosen. Kelly Johnson stepping in. Ubaldo's the first pitcher since Chris Bosio to follow up a no-hitter with a scoreless start in his next outing. Bosio pitched a no-no in late April of '93, and then in his next start, he went 5 innings, didn't allow any runs. Ubaldo worked into the 8th inning in his last start. And the first pitch is poured over for a strike on Kelly Johnson.
Top of their order, this is what they rely on. Kelly Johnson and also Stephen Drew, left-handed bats, both of them. Well, Ubaldo has been able to contain the left-handed bats to the tune of a 154 average this year.
First fastball at 92, the next one at 97, and this ball is in the air to left field. Seth Smith near the line is going to have room to play, 1 out. 66 degrees our game time temperature, so it's cooled off just slightly. It is perfect for baseball. And the low humidity, as we are accustomed to out here in the Rockies. And just a slight breeze. Stephen Drew will step in. Hitting .290, a couple of home runs, 8 RBIs. Just to finish that story on Bosio and what he did in his next outing. The only reason he went 5 innings, George, that day.
Rain delay.
No, it wasn't a rain delay. That's a good guess. He was covering first and got in a collision with the base runner, and he broke his collarbone. He went on the disabled list for a month, and then in his return, he worked out of the bullpen. And
he wishes
at least
had
initially.
A rain delay.
Yeah.
He wishes it would have rained a little bit.
It's a ground ball to Young. He'll take a back step, drop step, if you will, to get a clean hop. 5 pitches, 2 outs. And Ubaldo, for a power pitcher, for a guy that throws harder consistently than any other starter in the game, is not consumed with strikeouts.
And he shouldn't be. He was as a young pitcher because he did throw hard. He thought that's the only way to get outs was to force him through the strikeout. Now he's learned quick short outs, work yourself deeper into ball game. Example of that, 5 strikes, 1 ball, 6 total, and 2 outs.
Stepping in is Justin Upton, who is 0 for 12 with 6 punch-outs in his career against Jimenez. He's walked twice, so he broke out the champagne on those. And a shattered bat. He's about to be 0 for 13. How about that start? 7 pitches. Jimenez gets a couple of ground balls, a shattered bat. The crowd loves it. Boy, he's pretty good, isn't he? Inning tonight, as we mentioned earlier, is text the booth night. Here's how you do it. Text booth followed by a space and then your question to 95323. We'll answer your questions live tonight on the air. And it's brought to you as always by our friends at Office Liquidators and OfficeLiquidators.com, Colorado's largest selection and lowest prices of office furniture. Well, Eric Young Jr. called to the big leagues 48 hours ago. He had a pinch single on Sunday. And then last night he had a pinch double off the right field wall. So Jim Tracy said, you know what? He's hitting 1,000. I'm going to put him in the starting lineup. And he takes low ball one. And when he's in the starting lineup, he is generally right at the top of the lineup, which.
Well, you want that speed obviously up on top. If he gets the ability to grab a walk or get a base hit, get on base, he's going to steal.
Well, it's a great dynamic because you have EY who flies, Dexter Fowler behind him who flies, and they'll slide Carlos Gonzalez to the 5-hole, an RBI spot. That misses 2-1. Edwin Jackson, familiar with some of these Rockies, but honestly, it's been about 5 years since he faced Colorado.
Well, a young kid with the Dodgers when he first came up, just a hard thrower, not much of a pitcher. He's turned himself into a pretty good pitcher.
Kelly Johnson goes underhand. And even that play relatively close. One out. Let's take a look at the Southwest batting order as written out by Jim Tracy. Fowler will be followed by Todd Helton and Troy Tulowitzki. Carlos Gonzalez in the middle of the order tonight. Miguel Olivo, 6 for his last 15 with 3 home runs. Ian Stewart, Seth Smith, and then Jimenez. Dex has been swinging it. He actually has been swinging it for a while, but now they're falling for him. He's 5 for his last 9, also 4 walks, covering 3 ball games. His on base percentage over the last 3 close to 700.
And don't be surprised if you see the Rockies hitters start to take a few pitches off of Jackson to see what the change has been from the last time they faced him when he was in a Dodger uniform. Fastball consistently 90 to 93 miles an hour.
Dexter lines it to left, and that is a base hit.
Let's take a look at the scouting report on this young right-hander because he does have a very, very good fastball. 94 to 98 is what the scouts tell you. 80, 83 mile an hour curveball. He'll use the slider predominantly on the back foot of a left-hander and try to work the ball off the plate on a right-hander. The changeup, 82, 86, a developing pitch that he has gotten much better over the last couple of years.
Todd Helton steps up, 274 average. Todd 0 for his last 9 at the plate, though he's hit some balls extremely hard. A couple line outs to deep right. One in the gap yesterday, chased down by Chris Young in left center field. Outside, 1-1. Jim Joyce will let you know if it's a strike. Veteran umpire, joined tonight by Marvin Hudson at first, Jim Wolf at second, and Darrell Cousins at third. It's a strong crew.
Well, they've been around a long time. I mean, that's the one thing. You start to learn everybody's habits, where to be on certain pitches, throws, what happens. Whoop. Nice play over at first base by LaRoche. A little one hop from Jackson.
Threw him the splitter.
Yeah, not a good pitch. I didn't call that. I wanted a heater chest high. With runners on base, Jackson really has had the ability to make a pitch. The opposition hitting just 167. Over 300 with nobody on.
Dexter 2 for 3 in swiping bags here in the month of April. Last year he had 27 stolen bases.
A couple of throws shorten the lead on him.
Edwin Jackson was part of that 3-way deal between the Tigers, the Yankees, and the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks traded Max Scherzer and Daniel Schlereth. A couple of first-round picks. Schlereth, of course, Mark's son, who's from the Highlands Ranch area. He's now in Toledo. And the Yankees ended up with Curtis Granderson. That was the prize for them. Edwin Jackson, the prize for Arizona. 13-9 last year, an All-Star. And this ball is in the air to shallow center field. Going out is Stephen Drew. And that is the second out. Let's take a look at the gloves tonight for Arizona. In the outfield, Harara Parra and Chris Young in center, Justin Upton in right. Mark Reynolds, Stephen Drew, Kelly Johnson, and a very good defensive first baseman in Adam LaRoche. Chris Snyder is doing the catching again. Solid numbers for Tulowitzki through the first 3 weeks of the season. That's in there.
A lot of protection in the lineup when you put Helton ahead of Tulowitzki. He's going to see fastballs, and then Tulowitzki ahead of Gonzalez or Hop, whichever way you want to put it. They're going to see a lot of fastballs. Meaning Tulowitzki will. It's evident with a couple of outs. I wouldn't be surprised to see Tracy try to put Fowler in motion, get him in a scoring position with Tulowitzki at the plate.
Dexter's now been out there for several pitches. He has seen Jackson's move.
Well, the one thing he's doing, Drew, most of the time when he starts to come set is when he's making his throw over. He's come set twice and thrown over. So he's trying to give and vary the look as much as he possibly can.
This ball is ripped down the left field line. It's a fair ball. Parra got to it quickly, and Fowler will have to shut it down at third base. Parra did an outstanding job. Tulowitzki hit an absolute bullet.
Let's take a look on the fourth strike zone. It was a curveball. It appeared to be up into the zone, and it hung to the middle part of the plate. You see on that inner half at 81 miles an hour, Tulowitzki, it looked like somebody told him it was coming. That was a scalded dog in the left field. Off the wall, though, Parra played it perfectly to prevent any damage against the Diamondbacks and Jackson.
7 doubles for Tulowitzki. And here is Carlos Gonzalez, who in every ball game this year that he started, which is about every one, he's been leading off. And he's back in an RBI spot. I was kidding him about it before the ball game, and he smiled. He's excited to be in this exact position. Guys in scoring position. And last night, he decided to drive himself into first inning.
Well, he was trying to run. Just hit it to dead center and hit it a long way. It's over 220 feet to dead center field. As the soft jog started. Edwin Jackson with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Obviously more comfortable to be in the windup. He's got the sign, check the runner. Then out of his stretch position. It's not uncommon with 2 outs.
Yeah, the last fastball, George, the first one in the sequence, 93, the last one at 94. The reason I point that out, he's one of those guys. Brad Penny's like this. As the night wears on, his velocity increases.
Yeah, it doesn't decrease, and it typically can increase in situations just like this. We told you at the start of the show. With runners on.
Down the line, fair ball. That'll score 2. Extra bags for Carlos Gonzalez. He'll stop at second. 2-0 Colorado.
Just the way you like to start it off in the first inning, to apply a lot of pressure, as the Diamondbacks did last night. The fans here at Coors like it. Gonzalez loves it with 11 RBIs now. You're going to see this fourth strike zone. Fastball down and in. You can see the target missed by quite a margin of where Snyder wanted this ball and made him pay for it. Right down the line, hooked into that corner. Then it was just off to the races for everybody. Levo has seen Jackson more than anybody because of the American League ties. And when I say more than anybody, more successful at bats, I should say. 3 for 6 with a couple of home runs against him.
And that's down the left field line. Should be back-to-back doubles, 3-0. Ball actually crawled up, evidently out of play. It'll be a ground rule double. 3-0 Rockies. Edwin Jackson saying, I'm having flashbacks to the last time I saw the Rockies.
I don't like this ballpark, and I don't like a team with CR on their hats. This is not a good day. Snyder This time to Olivo, and watch how this ball just hung straight to the middle and actually backed up a little bit into the plate at 84 miles an hour. Becomes a very hittable pitch when not down in the zone. So Snyder's glove rides about 6 to 8 inches, and it just shot by Reynolds down into the corner, and then a fan reached over and prevented for anybody to move any further.
Back-to-back-to-back doubles. And here's Ian Stewart. He's tied for the club lead with Seth Smith. They have 12 RBIs, and they're hitting in the 7th and 8th spot tonight. How do you like that? Is that depth in a lineup? And
again, you know, people say, why don't you move him up the lineup? He's comfortable where he's at, and a lot of production in the backside of the lineup. Why? Don't fool with success. Leave it where it is. 4 home runs, 12 RBIs.
That's in there 1-1. Well, think about this. Carlos Gonzalez hits in the leadoff role just about every night. With that double, scoring 2 runs a moment ago, Cargo has 11 ribbies. He's second on the club to the guys, the aforementioned Stewart and Smith, who are hitting at the bottom of the lineup. Two and one. Next pitch will be the 20th of the inning for Edwin Jackson. A.J. Hinch looking on. Early concern.
Well, because of who's in the other dugout that's starting for the Rockies. Ubaldo Jimenez.
This ball is lifted to right center field. Chris Young waiting. And the Rockies are done. But it was a productive first inning. 4 hits, 3 doubles, 3 runs for Ubaldo Jimenez. Good start for Colorado. 3-0 Rockies. A reminder, fans, feed your baseball fever at Taco Bell. If Colorado scores 7 or more runs during any ball game, you know the drill. Go to Taco Bell the following day between 4 and 6 and feed your fever with 4 tacos for $1 with the purchase of a medium drink. That's a steal. And a reminder for George Frazier, only one order per customer.
Why?
Because.
Can I come by and pick up all your kids?
Yeah, absolutely.
You'll end up with like a whole bunch.
You would. You would. Mark Reynolds takes strike 1. One ball, 1 strike. A reminder that it is text the booth night. Here's numero uno this evening. Since Jimenez did so well from the stretch, why don't more pitchers pitch from the stretch, George?
Well, I'll tell you what, he went to the stretch because he wasn't getting his hand out of the glove quick enough. He was uncomfortable throwing strikes, and then it was much more down in the plane out of the stretch than he was at the windup. Typically, this guy's going to be much better. And Bob Apodaca happened to see it down in Atlanta, and he just made that switch to help him try to get through. At that point, you're talking the 5th inning, 6th inning of a ball game. Nobody anticipated a no-hitter, and I think. Once he corrected the flaw in between, obviously in Washington he was good. He was good again. Again, so far tonight, so good. Relief pitchers are a different story because typically when they walk into the ball game, they're working with men on base, so they just become more comfortable. You're still reaching the same point. I mean, it's a step back, turn sideways, and now you already turned sideways. It's not a lot of difference.
Here's the 3-2 to Reynolds. He missed with a couple of splits, and now he gets a pop-up. Todd Helton calling for it, and Todd has it. One out as we check in with Mark Stout for the first time tonight. Mark, how you doing?
Hi, guys. Manager Jim Tracy before the game was asked about his team's .500 record, and he went almost as far as to say it's because of one man, and that man is on the hill right now, Ubaldo Jimenez. He said, when you think that Jeff Francis, Houston Street, Taylor Buchholz on the DL since prior to the start of the season, Brad Hopp down, De La Rosa and Hamill go down last night, he said it's amazing his team is 10-10, and it's because Ubaldo has his 4 winning starts, and he has literally saved this bullpen. As this is hit to left field to Seth Smith. He has high praise for Ubaldo. A.J. Hinch, the manager in the other dugout, continued to say to me, you know what? He's watched him progress, and he said Jimenez is now a workhorse, and he is one of the pitchers in the National League West, and he hopes the rest of the league finds out real soon, but this division certainly knows about it. Drew, George?
Well, there's great pitching in the National League West. We've known about it for a while, and those that follow the game closely understand just how difficult it is night in and night out. Talk about the Lincecums and the Canes and the Billingsleys and the
Carpenter, Wainwright.
Well, we're talking about the West.
Well,
yeah.
even now, even over in San Diego, they've got guys firing off. I mean,
yeah, Wade LeBlanc's coming off a shutout.
How about this number? And you know, again, this kind of puts into perspective of where Jimenez is. Most wins since August 1st. He leads it, 12-4, 12-3. Who's second? CC Sabathia. How about that? 5 guys are tied with 10 wins. Longest streaks, Mike Pilfrey, which that's surprising. 24 innings with the New York Mets.
He's pitching very, very well. He pitched well against the Rockies, and he's continued that.
Wins by starters in the National League. The Rockies with 9. He's on top of the Philadelphia, the San Francisco Giants, and St. Louis.
Here's the 1-2 to Young. That's down low. Dan Herron's one of the best in the game, and he was very good last night for 8 innings against the Rockies. Well, hoping he has to play for Levo. Arms aren't long enough.
Well, the National League wins leaders right now. There's a lot of guys up there that obviously 2 of the 4 have Cy Young. So we're talking about Roy Halladay and Tim Lincecum. I think Ubaldo obviously has continued success here. And then Mike Pilfrey at 4-0 picked up the win in a rain-shortened game yesterday, 5 innings.
Halladay got beat yesterday. That's why he's 4-1 now. 2-2 to Young, and it's a splitter at 91. He threw that twice to Mark Reynolds, who didn't offer. And of course, Reynolds and Young, guys who hit a lot of home runs, but guys who strike out a lot as well. Payoff pitch, and here goes Young. 6 up, 6 down. 22 pitches, George, through 2 innings.
Last heater, 99 miles an hour. He's getting loose, folks.
Just stretching things out a little bit. Rockies up 3-0, middle of 2. Rockies off to a fast start. They're leading 3-0 as we got after Edwin Jackson in the first inning. Seth Smith will begin things here in inning number 2. 8-9-1 for the Rockies. Smith 4 home runs already, 12 driven in. Ubaldo Jimenez on deck. Jackson threw 21 pitches in the first inning. And this is fouled off. It's 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, it's unfortunate. I mean, for him, his side of things, because with Ubaldo on the mound, Ubaldo's going to typically 1 or 2 runs. He had the lowest earned run average last year, 341 at Coors Field, of anybody in the history of the Rockies franchise. So you know in the back of your mind, no more mistakes.
And this is wide off the top of the glove, redirected by Drew. Smith thought about going for 2. Chris Young, to his credit, got himself to the baseball pretty quickly.
Well, every ball seems to come to the offering. The home plate right now is getting hit awfully hard by this Rockies lineup. Seth Smith takes the fastball down and away, out of the reach for Stephen Drew, out into the outfield. On the Hyundai cam, you can see him try to time this leap to where he could barely get to it. Unfortunately, off the top and a base hit, unfortunately for the Rockies.
Tulo would have had it. Tulo's a couple inches taller. Actually, a few inches taller than Stephen Drew.
Jump a little higher.
Yeah. Jimenez in a sacrifice situation, though in the no-hitter, Ubaldo smoked one up the middle for an RBI single, but this is a situation that calls for a bunt.
But you know what? Ubaldo handles the bat so well. If he bunts it foul, now it gives the opportunity to Jim Tracy if he wants to put a slug bunt on, because he can see their defense. If they're both coming strong from the corners, they're covering that territory. You know, you've got those guys sprinting here and here. So when both these guys are coming, you're opening up the corners on both sides because your second baseman's trailing to this backside also.
Baldo pulls the bat back. It's 1-1. This is a good matchup for the Rockies, George. Going in, I felt that way. Edwin Jackson, again, terrific year last year. He's still a young guy. Hit the big leagues on his 20th birthday. But he's a hard thrower. Slug bunt was on. He's a hard thrower, and he comes after you, fastball, slider. And that, with a good hitting club, especially the Rockies, that's right up their alley.
Absolutely it is. I mean, again, this is a guy that wants to establish everything hard, and that's what you like as a hitter. It's not hard to adjust to.
Yeah, I mean, Livan Hernandez last week, that was no fun.
Now, that time on the slug bunt, I don't know if you noticed, the corner stayed put. There wasn't a lot of movement. I mean, they stayed back anticipating the slug bunt, so now you close down your defense, you keep them in place to record the out when you need it. Two very athletic position players in LaRoche and Reynolds on the corners for the Diamondbacks.
Seth Smith, a leadoff single here in the second. And Jimenez pulled it back, swings and misses, so he's gone. And that'll bring up EY Jr. Hey, it's time for the Breaks Plus Take a Break poll of the game. And the question of the evening: if you were a base runner, would you slide head first or feet first? Text your answers as always to 95323. Text Rocks 1 for I like to keep ahead of the pack. Text Rocks 2 if I like to put my best feet forward. And for voting, as always, you'll receive a $15 oil change and filter for most vehicles, or $50 off mileage maintenance service over $100. That's in the month of April from Breaks Plus. Ground ball to second for Eric Young Jr. Last inning.
You hear Drew and I talk an awful lot about second time through the lineup, third time through the lineup. What the Rockies have done to the opposition, second time through the lineup, and you're there now with EY starting off this inning. They've hit 239 first time through the lineup. Then it jumps all the way to 313 the second time through the lineup.
Eric Young Jr., extremely hard worker. He struggled out of the gate in Colorado Springs and then came on over his last 5 ball games, 10 for his last 21 before the call-up.
A little bit like spring training. Struggled early in spring training. In the last 5 or 6 ball games, the bat woke up. He swung the bat extremely well. Started to push the envelope a little bit. Maybe is there a spot we can figure out to put him on this team?
I mean, he knew that it would be more difficult once the Rockies acquired Melvin Mora. But to his credit, he didn't pout. He just went about his business. And he's got a lot on his plate, George, because defensively, he's still a work in progress at second. He's also played a lot in the outfield, center field, which, requires naturally a great deal of running.
Well, but it says a lot for him to willing to go do that.
And he played a little bit at third base.
Right. And I think that's something, okay, I've got to go do this. If I can get to the big leagues and I can catch the ball in the outfield, I can play center field and left field. His arm does not dictate that he could go to right field. But if I can learn to play other positions, it's a better opportunity for me to get to the big leagues and stay here.
Jackson has fallen behind EY 3-0. Seth Smith, a leadoff single. And that cut about 1.5 feet. And it's ball 4, 2 on for Dexter Fowler, who singled in his first trip. What did Yogi say? It's deja vu all over again. 5 years later for Edwin Jackson. I have maybe a little more gray in my. He doesn't have any gray yet, but he was a puppy when he came to the big leagues.
Yeah, he's 20 years old.
But he's saying, man, I remember this place. And I don't like any of the memories.
That purple line isn't any fun. The mountains aren't as pretty. I just want to get some outs.
Rockies with 5 hits already. 3 of the hits are doubles. Pitch. If you go to adjust the volume on your television sets at home because Jim Joyce is blowing you out, we can hear him up here also. He's got your voice, George.
Well, wait till he actually gets to ring somebody up on a third call strike. You think he's loud now?
See, the bill of the cap going forward, George, with the long bill, I've never liked that look. It's got,
You don't like that?
It just doesn't work for me.
Not on the umpire?
No.
I like the old-fashioned little short thing they used to have up there?
I do. This ball fell off the center field. It will drop. Here comes Smith. They're out third. EY's going to go to third. It's 4-0. Dexter Fowler battling on an 0-2 count. Second ribby of the season for Fowler.
And a lot of people question just 2 RBIs for Dexter Fowler, but think about it. The bases are pretty cleaned up by the time he gets up to the plate. Or he's the guy setting the table for everybody behind him that's supposed to drive in runs. This second hit of the ball game on the forward strike zone, you're going to see tried to run the fastball and break the bat on the inner half. Dexter, nice job of fighting this pitch off, really getting his hands to the inside part of the baseball. Even though it wasn't hit hard enough to get a run across.
Smith did a nice job reading that baseball, making sure it was going to clear Stephen Drew. First and third for help. Fowler not going on the first pitch, and it's low ball 1. I would think here, with the great speed aboard, Dexter is going to look to run, should look to run early for a couple of reasons. One, to get scoring position and stay out of the possibility of a double play. No movement, and that's a strike, 1-1. Another text question. Why are some pitch counts better to steal on than other counts? This is from Chris, Georgie.
Well, not so much just counts also, but factor into where you are in the game and how many outs there are, where you are in your lineup. Are you in the bottom? You don't want a pitcher leading off, obviously, the next inning, creating more offense. Is a pitcher preoccupied with what's happened to him? He's given up 4 runs on 6 hits. Is his thoughts at home plate now? All those factor in to the pitch count. So on an even count 1-1, you have speed there, but you also have your RBI guys. So do you want to run into an out at second base and prevent a Helton Tulowitzki or a Gonzalez from driving in more runs and blowing up a big inning? But to answer your question, a lot of times when you fall behind in counts, 2-1 count, runner on first, you'll see managers want to put on like a hit and run because it's a fastball count. So it makes a pitch easier to hit for the batter, easier to move for the runner.
It's also why you'll see some managers now in the last 15, 20 years run 1-2 because it's a breaking ball count.
Breaking ball count, chance of the ball getting into the dirt, getting to the screen. A fast runner may go first to third at times.
This ball is sliced in the hole to left field. Fowler's going to go first to third, throw in that direction, and Dexter's out.
Why not apply more pressure? It's 5-0 after the RBI single by Todd Helton. Go ahead and push the envelope a little bit harder.
7-5 on the putout. Fourth RBI for Todd Helton. He now ties Ellis Burks for 131st on the all-time ribby list with 12:06.
Center cut, but a pretty good fastball. Watch Helton's hands. Watch how they work to the baseball. Trying to take it to the opposite field. Not trying to get the head out. Not trying to get too quick. Controlled bat and a good result.
Here's Tulowitzki. He doubled his first time. Five 0 Rockies. A quick addendum to the story we just told about Todd moving into 131st place, tying a guy he knows well, Ellis Burks. He removed himself from a tie with a guy who's a heck of a player. Obviously, anybody who has 1,200 RBIs is a heck of a player, but Will Clark, we haven't mentioned that name in a while.
No, we sure haven't.
This ball up the middle, a base hit. Now Helton's thinking about going first to third.
Slow down.
Easy time. He's having a flashback to his Tennessee days.
Has to go down and get this pitch. You see Tulowitzki with a very upright stance. Very upright stance, what he has to do. Now let's catch Helton running. He sees everything out in front of him. A little bit of a bobble. I'm going to force the issue. You never know with a young outfielder with a strong arm. You may get an overthrow, ball ends up in the dugout. A lot of things can happen. And you got to have it visit on a mound right now, and it's not something you like to do as a pitching coach, is to walk out in the second inning with 2 outs and your pitcher's down 5-0. You're giving up 8 hits.
Talking to some people at the Diamondbacks organization, George, I know you heard the same thing. They are thrilled with the acquisition of Edwin Jackson on 2 levels. One, he's a frontline pitcher, naturally. But the other area where he's been terrific is in the clubhouse. He's been around now for a while, and he's a leader in the clubhouse. And
he's been around winners. He's been around Jimmy Leland. He's been around what went on in Detroit.
This ball to the gap in left center field. My goodness, the Rockies are teeing off on Jackson. Tulowitzki around third. He'll follow Helton in. Here's Gonzalez headed to third. Head first slide with a triple. Make it 7-0. Get ready for the tacos tomorrow at Taco Bell.
A lot of high fives in that Rockies dugout as a result of what Gonzalez has done tonight. 4 RBIs for this young man, and you're in the second inning. Have some fun in this ball game. Fastball away, this time up in the strike zone, and allowed him to elevate a little bit more and drive this ball out into the gap. Made it easy for Tulowitzki and Helton to both come around to score. See Tulowitzki score for the ball's even headed back to the infield, and then Gonzalez into third base. This is when you start to short arm a lot of things. You start to bounce balls. You start to everything you've thrown over the plate that's grabbed a little bit of whites, you've been hit hard.
These aren't punch and Judy singles, bad luck. The Rockies are squaring virtually everything up. 7 runs, 9 hits. Jackson's not out of the second. And as I said a moment ago, go to Colorado Taco Bell locations tomorrow between 4 and 6. You get 4 tacos for $1 with the purchase of a medium drink. Third time in the last 4 days. Been handing out tacos. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Oliva. With that double, he jumped the average to 326. Jackson will make a long walk to the Arizona dugout. The Rockies got 3 in the first. They tacked on 4 in the second of the touchdown. Is brought to you by AT&T. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By Brakes Plus, a whole lot more. By Mini U, free Rockies tickets with every new storage rental. And by Hyundai. Hyundai was just named the most fuel-efficient car maker in America. Visit your Colorado Hyundai dealers today. Man, this has been fun. Tuesday night at the ballpark. The Rockies have a 7th spot. I hope Ubaldo can hold it, George. What do you think?
Well, I feel pretty confident and comfortable right now. In fact, I think I'll have another cup of coffee. And by the way, that 7th triple tied for second in the National League to the Washington Nationals. You know, the thing is, Edwin Jackson has hardly been able to get into the dugout and get his jacket on before he's got to take it off and head back out again. Ubaldo has worked quick. 7 in a row.
Let's take a look at our Geico quote of the day. Cy Young, I remember when he said this, George. A pitcher's got to be good, and he's got to be lucky to get a no-hit game.
Doug, how many no-hitters does Cy Young throw? He won 500-something games.
511.
So I'm thinking he's probably maybe had 1 or 2. Of course, they went on 2 days rest, too.
I want to say 3.
I think it's 2.
Here's Chris Snyder.
3. Oh, tell the truth.
What?
Tell the truth on your cheat sheet.
I actually did. I didn't see that.
Oh,
is it on there?
No,
I didn't see that. And I tell you, 98-mile-an-hour fastball for a strike. 1-1 on Snyder. That's a strike. See, George, what? You know, you look up there, and that was a changeup, folks, but it was 90 miles an hour. There are guys who are in the big leagues, pitchers who dream about being able to throw 90, 91, right? Well, that's his off-speed delivery.
Yeah, I mean, again, you know, it's like Nolan Ryan said, I was given a gift. And there's not anything you can do as a young player to go out and become somebody that throws 100 miles an hour. It's a gift. And much like what happened to Ubaldo, who at 18 years old, 16 years old when they signed him, he threw 88 miles an hour. He became a man. His arm got stronger. You know, Steven Strasburg, that's going to bloop out into the corner.
That's a fair ball. And Snyder's going to have himself a double. First base runner with 1 out in the 3rd inning. Chris Snyder, fly ball double. Well, the no-no 2 starts ago in Atlanta, April the 17th. Now, if you recall, he struggled with command early in the game. 6 walks through his first 5 innings, and then he worked from the stretch. In the final out, Ryan McCann grounded out to Clint Barmas, and Jimenez, the 264th no-hitter in the history of the game. First in Rockies history. On the outside corner, a strike to Edwin Jackson.
And they'll be careful with Edwin Jackson, a guy that can swing the bat. A home run and 2 RBIs right now. The Diamondbacks pitchers, if he and Heron swing the bat the way they do, second in the National League with average at 273. The Houston Astros staff leads it at 310. The Rockies staff hitting a very respectable 238.
And that's 3rd in the National League. No American League pitchers hit probably yet. Here's the 1-1 on Jackson. 1-2. And George, going back to the Geico, he said it. I agree with Cy Young. You have to be obviously on your game, but you also have to have good fortune.
Well, think of the catch Dexter Fowler made.
Yeah.
In left center field.
And here's an example. That was a pretty good pitch. Todd stayed on the bag.
Well, he threw him a sailor. When he flipped that thing down sidearm, and if you watch Ubaldo, he does this frequently on balls hit right back at him. See him drop down on it. And he throws about a 92-mile-an-hour sinker over at Helton off the bag, and he's able to catch it and stay on the bat.
But the one thing I like about Ubaldo jumping around here, topic-wise, he will throw it hard, as opposed to so many pitchers, George, they get the yips trying to throw to first base.
Well, you do, because you try to throw it soft, and it's just like the hand collapses there, and there's no wrist snap. It's all stiff arm because you're so worried about throwing the ball away versus taking it and just snapping it over to first base.
Here's Kelly Johnson, and he grounds his one foul. But I was making the point about you have to be lucky also. Chris Snyder's on third base. He had a double. Chris Snyder was way out in front. He was fooled. He hit it off the end of the bat. He just happened to lob it in an area where, a fielder couldn't get to it.
Strong guy, too.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I'm not taking anything away from Chris Snyder.
No, my point is a little weaker guy may have been a broken bat to third.
Right. And that's where, good pitch by Jimenez, bad result. Whereas, if you throw a no-hitter, on those nights, they find a glove.
Where he has matured also, and hopefully don't jinx him, he's given a 7-0 lead now, is when he really puts the hammer down. He doesn't let the opposition get back into a game.
Here's the 2-1.
And the good part about having a 7-0 lead, thinking not now, but for the future. If it jumps to 8-0, 9-0, whatever, he gets through 6 innings at about 85 pitches, dump him out and turn it over to the bullpen. Because he's had 2 straight starts, 128 pitches and I think 116 pitches in the start after the no-hitter. So he could give the arm a little bit of a break.
The nice thing, the rotation, George, will all get an extra day of rest this next time through because of Thursday's off day. Here's the 3-2 on Johnson, fouled off. Look out, and Kelly Johnson walks. First walk allowed by Ubaldo. That'll bring up Stephen Drew.
The last 3 starts for Ubaldo, 115 pitches, the no-hitter to 128, and Washington, 121 pitches.
Tough out in Stephen Drew. He hit a ground ball to second in the first inning. First and third, 2 outs. Him out with a split. Sometimes it's hard to tell.
Well, what he does, and tomorrow, hopefully I'll get a baseball up here. I forgot to go grab it today. A lot of times they'll hold it on what they say in baseball, the horseshoe. meaning on a four-seam fastball, he puts the seams to the inside versus the outside. And so when he pronates down, he's really pulling sometimes on that seam. And it makes it difficult to catch because he doesn't know when he's doing that. And for the catchers, it makes it even harder. High heater there at 97. And not in the strike zone. Let's take a look at the grip on the four-seam fastball. This is Ubaldo's grip taken in spring training. So you can, what you're seeing is the rotation of these four seams here rotating together. Now, typically, if he's holding it that way, now you think if you pronate and put pressure in this fashion, you end up getting a lot of problems out of the deal, because what happens, you just create a big sink on the baseball.
Three balls and a strike on Drew. That fastball at 99 gives you an idea.
Oh, throw the ball hard.
I mean, there was a 2-0 pitch to Drew, a fastball that he was late on, and a 3-1 pitch that he was late on. And Stephen Drew is a very, very good hitter. You're sitting dead red, George, and you still can't catch up. Another 99-mile-an-hour heater. Kelly Johnson will go back. In the air to shallow right. Car goes there, and that is all for Arizona in the third. They got a double from Snyder, a walk to Johnson, 2 left aboard, 7-0 Rockies. Dex One, Marketing Solutions Business Results. A year ago, Dexter Fowler ties a modern-day rookie record with 5 stolen bases. The last rookie with 5 steals was Padres' Damian Jackson in 1999, ironically against the Rockies. Dexter took advantage of Chris Young, taking about, George, he's like 1-9 at the plate. I mean, he was...
You mean like 1 minute, 9 seconds?
Yeah, it was in that neighborhood.
It took a while, didn't it?
This ball toward the hole, and a base hit for Ian Stewart. So the bats have not cooled. The Rockies have produced 10 hits against Edwin Jackson in 2+ innings.
Only 2 people do not have a hit in this lineup right now. Gary Young, who walked and scored, and Jimenez, who struck out. Ford strike zone looked like a breaking ball at 79 miles an hour, more to the middle of the plate and just out of the reach of Kelly Johnson, and scoops into the outfield.
Nobody up in the Arizona bullpen.
Well, sometimes you just got to bite the bullet. You know, you hope you go out there and have an easy inning or work through an inning without giving up any more runs. I think that's one of the things you're trying to accomplish, because you have a day game tomorrow with a short turnaround. You blow up a bullpen and have them try to eat up 6-7 innings of a game. And it really hurts you the next day. Chris Benson, who's been coming back from different surgeries, will pitch for the Diamondbacks tomorrow. Now, he's averaged a little over 5+ innings per start so far. They do not have a left-hander in their bullpen. So Boyer, Gutierrez, Heilman, who came over from the Chicago Cubs, Howery, Rosales, Vasquez, and Qualls. Their bullpen has not been very pretty. 6.62 earned run average.
Their bullpen came close to coughing one up again last night. 8 special innings by Herron. Rockies got a run in the 9th and then had the winning run at the plate in Jason Giambi, runners at first and third, before Qualls could get the punch out of Giambi.
We just had a news alert just come in. Breaking news: Pittsburgh's bullpen has passed them for the National League worst ERA at 6.63.
That's not surprising to hear that, because every time we look up, the Pirates are giving up double figures.
Not tonight.
How are they doing tonight?
2-1. They're winning over Milwaukee. In Milwaukee.
The bullpen hasn't factored in yet. That's the deal, though.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was 20. Part of their bullpen's a couple of outfielders and an infielder that finished up that 20-0 game or whatever it was, 20-2 game. There's been some high scores this year in baseball. Long ball games, extra inning games. Around baseball, the Cubs tried to soar up their bullpen a little bit by bringing Zambrano down there. He worked a scoreless inning in the 3rd yesterday. Diamondbacks and then Pirates.
That's an awfully expensive setup guy. What's he making? $18 million, somewhere in that range?
Well, it just wasn't working as a starter, so they put him down there, hoping that he could maybe find his arm slot, get back into the groove they want him to be. And he said, "I'm still a starter." They know that. It's just a matter of getting things straightened out.
Well, he's now hacked off in a couple of ways. One, that he's in the bullpen, and 2, that he doesn't get the hit. 3-1 on Smith. Stewart takes off. That is low, ball 4. And you know, this is their number 2 starter, and he's having a tough night. The Rockies have lit him up, but he's your number 2 starter. At some point, George, you're not going to embarrass him.
Well, you wouldn't think. He's already into 7 earned runs. A.J. Hinch looking around like, okay, where are we going to have to turn to next to get through this thing?
Baldo trying to move the runners up. Good bunt. Jimenez does his job. 2nd and 3rd for Eric Young with 1 out in the 3rd. AT&T trivia question: what is Colorado's record for consecutive scoreless innings by a starter? Beginning of the night, that man had fashioned 16 1/3 scoreless. Added 3 to that tonight. And now you got Blaine Boyer up. I think, you know, I think AJ, he's got to go in this direction, George.
Well, you just can't let it get totally out of hand. Boyer's up. He's the former Atlanta Brave. What really turns ugly is if you start getting after the bullpen. That's what's happened in some ball games where you've seen outfielders come in and pitch a couple innings, infielders throwing a couple innings. You don't want to have to force yourself into making a bunch of moves on your roster. The Rockies actually had to designate Albuquerque and Tulsa to make room for Phillips.
Yep. Al Albuquerque came to the Jeff Baker deal. This is a base hit up the middle. That'll score one. Here's the trail runner Smith coming home. No throw. 2 more across. It's 9-0. And Eric Young Jr. has his first RBIs of 2010.
Pretty difficult pitch to do something with, too. Listen, Young, a guy that stays down in a crouch pretty good, but you can see a four-seam fastball running down and away from him. Didn't try to do a whole lot with it, just focused on taking the ball back up the middle. Out of the reach of everybody with the infield pulled in. A couple of RBIs come across. EY Jr. has now filled up a lot of categories since just returning the last 2 days.
And this is the worst kind of meeting for a catcher.
Yeah, it's called stall. Big-time stall.
Exactly. And Edwin Jackson knows what it's about. Chris Snyder knows what it's about.
Well, Jackson's looking on the board, 11 hits, 9 runs. He goes, can we stall a little longer?
Yeah.
He's going to come out of the ball game now. EJ will go out and buy a little bit more time for Boyer to try to get him loose. The Rockies 6 for 8 now with runners in scoring position, and you're in the third.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what? As talented as this kid is, everybody has those kind of nights, even the good ones. He's off to a pretty solid start with Arizona this year. This one, he'll have to forget about quickly. It's hard for a starter. 5 days of waiting. 9-0 Rockies. And you don't have to have $1 bazillion to get started. $25 is all you need. That'll get you going. You can also do as we did as well and set up an automatic deposit so you don't even have to think about it every month. It is a tremendous, tremendous program. Check them out at collegeinvest.org and get started saving for your kids' futures. Ubaldo is beautiful, and he's even more beautiful when he's been staked to a 9-0 lead with 1 out in the third, George.
Yes, he is. Things getting spotted a little bit around. Blaine Boyer's coming on now. He's going to have to eat up a lot of innings for this Arizona bullpen. He's been in 8 ball games so far. 3.00 earned run average over 6 innings pitched. He's given up 7 hits. Looking to get an out. The one thing you may not see now is a lot of the running game starts to shut down with a 9-0 lead.
Today's call to the bullpen brought to you by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 1-800-COMCAST. Dexter Fowler takes a 92-mile-an-hour fastball inside ball 1. Dexter's 2 for 2 in the game, including an RBI. Just going up and down the lineup. The only guy that doesn't have a hit is Ubaldo, and he has a sac bunt that set up Eric Young's 2-run single. So he's been involved offensively. EY at first, a single and a walk. Dexter, as we mentioned, 2 singles. Todd's 1 for 2 and an RBI. Tulowitzki a double and a single. Carlos Gonzalez a double and a triple, 4 RBIs. Miguel Olivo a double and 2 trips outside. Ian Stewart is 1 for 2, a single and a run scored. Seth Smith a single and a walk, 2 runs scored. I mean, look at that in-game box.
Oh, by the way, it's 3rd inning.
Yeah.
Normally you're looking at something like that. You're thinking 2 hits, 3 hits, all this thing, a run scored. So I wonder.
And then Boyer comes in, George, and hasn't thrown a strike.
By the way, you mentioned the only guy that hadn't had a hit was Ubaldo. There's only 2 guys that have scored a run.
Yeah, Olivo and Ubaldo. We don't want them running around. They're the batter.
That's right. Well, Dexter hadn't scored one either, so I'll take that back. 3 guys.
No, Dexter scored in the
That's
first.
right. Yes, he did. So now, yeah, just 2 guys. Olivo and Foul, and the battery bands.
With Dexter, speaking of Fowler, in his last 4 games, Frage, now 7 for 11, 5 walks, an on-base percentage of 750. That's setting the table. Here's Helton. Todd, a sharp single to left, his last time up to drive in a run. After 5 straight balls, a strike from Blaine Boyer. Yeah, George, he may not have been fully ready.
Well, no, but you got a man down. You got to get out. I mean, you got to come. I got 8 more going. I'll just come in and throw some fastballs, changeups, try to get a ball on the ground, get a double play ball. That's where you got to pick your teammate up. 9 runs on 11 hits. It's an old-fashioned backyard whooping.
That's high, 3-1. Ball 4, and now the bases are loaded for Tulowitzki. Now look at Mel Stottlemyre. Are you kidding me? You see him coming out of the dugout? I mean, he was barking and maybe cussing coming out of the dugout. Well, this replay brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. Troy Tulowitzki with a triple to the left field corner of the first inning. And he had a base hit his next time up. And from now until June 30th, we replay any of your non-winning scratch tickets in a second chance drawing. Enter your tickets at coloradolottery.com. That was, George, that was the old one-way conversation. That was a
well. I thought maybe, you know what I thought maybe too. He's barking a little bit on Joyce. Come on, dude. It's 9-0. All right. If it's a little bit low, ring him up. He might have been barking a little bit on a couple of those low fastballs that weren't called. Plus barking a little bit at his pitcher.
That would not, as you know, George, because you were out there for a long time.
It's not going to gain anything. That just makes you feel better because you're frustrated already.
Right. That won't work with Jim Joyce.
2 for 10. The Rockies with the bases loaded here in 2010.
Good swing by Tulowitzki, 1-1. I mean, Joyce has been working baseball games at this level for 23 years. Eric Young Jr. is at third base. Fowler at second, Helton at first. Here's the 1-1. 2-1.
A year ago, the Rockies as a team hit .311 with the bases loaded. How many grand slams do you think they hit?
Last year, 4.
5. But you were close.
Troy told me something interesting today in the clubhouse. He said, I asked him, if players, they obviously they're aware when a teammate goes down naturally, but to apply more pressure. And he said, we have confidence in the guys coming up. Obviously, you don't want to see De La Rosa and Hamill go down. He said, but it makes the days that an Ubaldo Jimenez starts or an Aaron Cook starts that much more important to find a way to get a W. Blaine Boyer has just walked in a run. That's 3 in a row. He has walked since coming out of the bullpen. And the Rockies have hit double digits. It's 10-0. And they got nobody up right now. Boyer can't find the plate.
Hey, you're the guy. You're going to throw 70 pitches, 80 pitches out here, whether you like it or not. Cleans up the book on Edwin Jackson. 2 1/3, 11 hits, 10 runs, 10 earned with 2 walks and 2 strikeouts. Doug's that any good? You put on 13 men and 10 of them reached the plate and nobody hit a home run. Think about that. You put 13 men on base in tonight's game. There was no errors. 13 men. 10 of them scored. And there was not a home run hit.
Cargo has a chance to establish a new career high in RBIs. He has 4 tonight. 4th time in his young career he has produced 4 ribbies. And the bases are full. He gets up the line, he'll get an RBI here. There's one, and he is safe. 5 RBI night for Carlos Gonzalez. Fowler scores. It is 11-0.
I'm trying to turn it, but you got to recognize you have wheels everywhere, so Fowler can get in and disrupt Drew, and then the wheels up the line just outran the throw, and Fowler scored. Regardless of the score, you play the game the right way.
Miguel Olivo, 9th man to hit here in the 3rd inning. Rockies hit 7 in the 1st, 8 in the 2nd, 9 in the 3rd. Wow.
Tell you what, in a game like this, what it does too, it forces you as a manager and general manager, Josh Burns is here, their general manager, to maybe make a move you don't want to, because your bullpen gets blown up. But you got to have help for tomorrow.
And we go back to something we mentioned earlier, Frazier. They're at the start of a 20-game and 20-day situation. So it's not like, well, we have that off day coming up. We can get everybody some rest.
Yeah, there's just any rest to get. That makes it harder on a manager because you're trying to win ball games. You're trying to save some guys' egos too.
It's your number 2 starter also who went out early in the ball game. Here's the 2-1 outside, 3-1. Gonzalez at first. Helton at third base. 2 outs in the 3rd. 11-0 Colorado. Boyer's thrown 20 pitches. Only 5 have been in the strike zone. Ball 4. He has now walked 4. And the bases are loaded again for Ian Stewart.
And the Rockies will now have batted around too.
Well, 101 walks and 101 home runs in the career of Miguel Olivo. Gives you an idea how off Boyer is, because Miguel, not an easy man to give a free pass to. He's going to fire if it's close. Stewart got the inning started with a single to right.
And how about this? In Boyer's previous 6 innings, covering 8 ball games, he'd walked 1. Only given up 7 hits, 1 extra base hit. Now he's had a difficult time getting anywhere near the strike zone. Drew mentioned a minute ago, 15-5 will make it 17-5 now.
And now Stoudemire's would be forced to get somebody else up.
Well, let me tell you what, it's hard on him to sit and watch it. as it is for a manager, for his players, and in fairness to the people playing behind you. That kind of becomes a factor also.
This is bounced up the middle. Drew's going to get there, and the inning mercifully is over for Arizona. 10 come to the plate for the Rockies, and another 4 come around. 11-0. Recap. First inning, Carlos Gonzalez doubles down the right field line, scoring 2 against Edwin Jackson. Miguel Oliva goes down the third base line. They'll bring Cargo home. Second inning, Dexter Fowler on 0-2 pitch, blips one to center field. That brought a run home. Todd Helton with a hot shot to the left side of the infield brought a run home. Carlos Gonzalez unloads a triple to left center field, 2 more RBIs. Eli got involved with his first couple of RBIs in 2010. The Rockies have 11 runs on 11 hits in 3 innings, and they have Ubaldo Jimenez firing darts out on the mound. 0-2 count on Justin Upton, who had his bat broken his first time up on a weak ground ball to Troy Tulowitzki.
Why it's so important to have those 8-9 pitches in between innings to really kind of refocus, because it's a difficult game to pitch in when you're up 11-0. You're in the top half of the 4th inning. You really want to come out and work those 8 pitches as if it's game time. So many pitchers come out and just play catch in between innings to get their arm what they think's loose. You go back, you may find the slider, you may find the curveball, but in Ubaldo's instance, keep the slider, keep what you have the first 3 innings.
Second strikeout of the ball game for Ubaldo as Upton is dismissed. That'll bring up Mark Reynolds, our AT&T trivia question and answer. What is Colorado's record for consecutive scoreless innings by a starter? Ubaldo's at 19 2/3. And, well, he's 1 out from tying Denny Nagel in 0-2 and Franklin Morales in 0-7. That thing had, what would you say, George, about 8 inches of tail on it at 98 to Reynolds, who popped to first.
Yeah, I enjoy trying to hit something on that, put a solid swing on it anyway, and then come back 99 with a riding fastball.
Slider, oh man, that got Miguel Oliva.
Well, it never feels good, that's for sure. Well, go to bat for your community and get free Rockies tickets. That's right. This season's Colorado Rockies Home Run for the Homeless 5K will be Sunday, May 2nd. For information, call 303-312-2411 or register in person at any one of the Rockies dugout stores.
Look at Jim Tracy. Jim's got a little grin on his face. He came out and said, Miguel, that's why I didn't catch. That's a rough position. Scotty Garrett joining Jim Tracy. Yeah, Jim Joyce, this is part of umpiring also. See Joyce, he's going to take his time. He wipes off the plate, brushes it off. He's given Olivo, he's given Olivo some time. Here's the 1-2 to Reynolds, and he's gone on high heat at 98. Well, he's just tied the record. That's 20 innings consecutive without allowing a run for Ubaldo Jimenez.
Well, he rode a high heater, too, because you get him into that slider count. That's what typical guys throw to Mark Reynolds. You can see that ball at 99 up in the zone was by him before he could react to it. With 2 outs, the Rockies infield will put the shift on for Adam LaRoche as he faces Ubaldo Jimenez for the second time. He flied out to left field the first time.
See, right there, George, is why one of the many reasons Ubaldo is such a handful. So you think, all right, man, he's throwing pretty much all heaters are up 11-0, and he drops off 2 nasty hooks on you. He missed on the second one.
And a lot of guys etiquette-wise would say, come on, man, it's 11-0. Give me a fastball to hit. It's his earned run average. It's his game. And you don't change anything around on it just because you're winning by 11 runs. You continue to pitch your baseball game. And that's what Ubaldo's doing. And again, if he doesn't have the hook, he's got the 90-mile-an-hour slider. And he's got the 90-mile-an-hour changeup.
Well, you know what my analogy, George, is if, let's say in football, you're a team that throws the football and you're up, a fair amount, and you put in the number 2 quarterback. Well, if he's just going to hand the ball off and then all of a sudden you later on in the season need to turn to the number 2 quarterback in a real competitive game, but he hasn't thrown the ball because of etiquette, it becomes your job to try to stop him, right?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I know right where you're getting it, but I see, it's unfortunate because a lot of times, think 11-run lead, you don't pitch any differently till you get in the 8th and 9th inning. An 11-0 game, 12-0 ball game, you got monster leads. But you know what? When you get to the 8th and 9th inning, they realize it's over too, and they just soon get it over with and go to the house and get ready for tomorrow's game.
Ball almost snuck back over the inside corner, so a 2-out walk to LaRoche, second allowed by Ubaldo, and that'll bring up Chris Young. All right, another text. George, do you have a catcher preference? Did you have a catcher preference when you were pitching? Does the manager dictate the pitcher-catcher lineup?
Well, you know what? It was a lot different because I came out of the bullpen, so I couldn't very well go, hey, could you run this guy in there real quick while I'm coming in? Didn't happen. So as a starting pitcher, yes, there's a lot of guys. I mean, there's guys I'd rather throw to. I love throwing to Rick Sherrill with the New York Yankees, Jody Davis, Tim Laudner, Tom Nieto, guys with the Twins. But, you think back to the Greg Maddux, Charlie O'Brien combination. That was so successful for whatever reason. And I think, too, that a manager can see when guys click. But here's some numbers. Hopefully I find this quick enough. Here are some numbers you look at as a manager. And again, you look at pitchers' ERAs with who's behind the plate, when they're behind the plate. Do they walk more? Do they strike out more? What do they do? Can they throw runners out? Those are some things you look at. And with Oliva behind the plate, the Rockies are 8-4 this year with a 272 earned run average, or 106 innings, with 7 caught stealing out of 11. Now, a lot of that's guys holding guys on and situations, maybe not getting a big jump, and there's a lot of things that factor into that. But you say, this guy works pretty good with this guy. Some managers, and you saw Riggleman in Washington make that comment, he goes, I don't buy into the pitcher coming to me and telling me this guy's got to catch me because I like him better. He said, we're trying to win a baseball game. And if I feel more comfortable with this guy's offense behind the plate, then that guy's going to be behind the plate.
I would think you'd have to be the caliber of a Greg Maddux with a long resume before you walk into the manager's office and say, hey, I really prefer this guy to that guy.
You don't walk in with 34 wins and go, this is what I want. And that's where Ubaldo Jimenez is right now.
ball, 1 strike on Gerardo Parra. And he's behind 1-2.
Overmatched on that pitch from Ubaldo at 89 mile an hour, hard slide.
You know, Parra last year, under the radar, had a terrific rookie season. 60 RBIs, hit 290. Swung on and missed. Ubaldo fans Parra. Ends up striking out the side, and that is a new Rockies record. 20 1/3 scoreless. The Rockies are up 11-0. They have out-hit Arizona 11-2. Rusty Ryle comes into the ballgame for Adam LaRoche at first base, and I'm sure as this night moves into the middle innings, you may see both teams switching out some people, maybe give help some time off, get Giambi in there. Seth Smith will lead it off. A single and a walk, 2 runs scored. Blaine Boyer, who really struggled to throw strikes, come out of the bullpen, replacing Edwin Jackson. He walked the first 3 he faced, forcing in a run. Ended up walking 4 of the first 6 hitters he faced. Two and one on Smith. And this ball toward the hole. Great play by Ryle. Behind Boyer. Nice catch. Good play all the way around. So Ryle steals a hit from Smith, and we check in with Mark Stout. Mark?
Guys, this is an interesting day in baseball history, and I'm over the auxiliary scoreboard to kind of highlight this. On this day, there have been 6 no-hitters thrown. The first in 1944, the last in 2003. In terms of starting pitchers tonight, and of course Ubaldo Jimenez is one of them, no less than 7 men are on the hill this evening that have thrown a no-hitter. Those include Kevin Millwood, Derek Lowe, Clay Buchholz, Justin Verlander, Anibal Sanchez, and of course Ubaldo Jimenez. Now, I got a chance to ask both managers in this game if they were ever involved in a no-hitter in any form or fashion. Jim Tracy said that he was a bench coach for Felipe Alou. Pedro Martinez had a perfect game through 9 innings at Qualcomm in San Diego, had it broken up in the 10th, and they ended up losing that game. A.J. Hinch said he was catching Kenny Rogers when Dave Martinez broke up a no-hitter in the 9th inning, stole second. He overthrew second because he was a catcher. Martinez would eventually score, and Rogers would lose that game. That was his story. George, I don't know if you've been on one end or either end. I think you've been involved in some no-hitters. You can tell people about that.
Yeah, sure have been in a couple of them with Tom Seaver. Watch your feet there, big boy. It's coming back at you. Base hit into center. Tom Seaver, when he was a member of Cincinnati Reds, and then Dave Rigetti's as a member of the New York Yankees. Fun to watch as they unfold as a player. I tell you that. Particularly when you're on that other side, the good side.
Well, it's now complete. Every man in the lineup has a hit. Ubaldo had a sacrifice, so he was involved offensively. Now he has a hard single up the middle. By the way, Mark's report, our Fast Cash Sideline report, brought to you by Fast Cash Gold Centers, where you'll always get 40% more for your gold. It's always good when, George, you're getting that 4th AB in the 4th inning. Here's Eric Young Jr. All right, we have to revisit the in-game box.
Hey. What? 3 1/3 innings.
3 1/3, yeah. 1 for 2, 2 for 2, 1 for 2, 2 for 2, 2 for 3. You get the picture. Wow. Slowly hit the second. Ubaldo will get tagged, safe there. Well, I'm glad Ubaldo did it that way, George. I mean, don't put on the brakes, pull a muscle. We'll try to dramatically avoid the tag of 11 runs.
Well, I tell you what, right here, I mean, this is Kelly Johnson. If he comes in quick tags and it turns around, just kind of snap a little throw over. B.Y. did not quit hustling all the way up, and he did beat the throw, and it was just barely.
Dexter Fowler at the plate. And with the Rockies up 11-0 in the 4th inning, Ryle's going to play behind Eric Young Jr. And the etiquette's already coming into play because Eric Young Jr. didn't look to run there.
Absolutely, nor should he. And a manager's basically telling you on the opposing team, look, all right, we've shut it down. We're not defensively. We're staying back trying to get outs right now. You're kicking our tail ends 11-0. And you want to upset some folks, start stealing bases down.
And it's also different. And George, when you were playing, you didn't have the unbalanced schedule, but you're going to see the Diamondbacks after tonight 16 more times.
Hey, feelings are hurt already.
Yeah.
12 runs, 11 runs, 12 hits. You don't need to insult the injury.
Now, if he throws one to the screen, Eric Young Jr. is going to move up. I mean, if you're wondering about that. But had this been a 1-run game or a 2-run game, on that pitch in the dirt that wasn't far away with Eric Young Jr.'s speed, he'd have tried to move up there. So the whole deal gets changed a little bit when you've got 11 and they don't have anything. Fowler lost one to shallow center. Chris Young comes on, makes the catch. First scoreless inning offensively for the Rockies. We'll go to the 5th, 11-0.
to you by the Colorado Lottery. Don't forget to play. By Exempla, most hearts, most experience, stjosephheart.org. By Big Brothers Big Sisters, be big and donate your car. You get a free tow and tax break, and you'll help change a kid's life. And by Steel and your local Steel dealers. For a location near you, visit steeldealers.com. We go to the fifth inning. Chris Snyder on a pretty night in downtown Denver will lead it off for Arizona. 11-0 Rockies. Baldo Jimenez has allowed a fly ball double off the bat of the man at the plate, Chris Snyder, and a solid single to left by Chris Young. That's it. 2 walks also. That bat disintegrated, and Young did a nice job. 3-1. Now, he has a guy that doesn't run real well, but he made sure, George, he stabbed that baseball before it got to the bag.
Well, you needed to, because then you just run into more problems if you don't. The ball's going to carry off with you. You've got to get out in front of the bag. Catch Tulowissy's not going to be able to. All he can hope for is the ball might take a hop over. But Young, a quick jab. He has Snyder, who doesn't run well, and is able to retire him for the first out here in the fifth.
Chris Snyder will feel his hands again about the 8th inning. If it was last night, he wouldn't have felt them until 2 hours after the game. Blaine Boyer said, you know, it's fun to get the hit once in a while, but I'm not real interested in this.
Why not?
0-2.
Why not?
Well,
still think he's going to hit real good? No?
No. Boyer's
You're not confident in contact?
I don't know if Boyer's confident that he's going to make contact. See, Boyer's from Atlanta. Another one of those guys from that Atlanta area that went to the Braves. Strike 3. 2 outs. That's strikeout number 5 for Baldo. And it'll bring up Kelly Johnson. It's Text the Booth night. Brought to you by Office Liquidators. Do you anticipate Ubaldo pitching deep into the game with the big lead and knowing Ubaldo has had a high pitch count the last 2 starts? Josh, I'm glad you brought that up, because around the 6th inning, George and I were going to start discussing that. And in his last start, after his last start, we had the conversation, would Jim Tracy find a place to try to get him, you know, one of those 90, 95 pitch outings and get him out there. The one thing he has also in his hip pocket, if you're Jim Tracy, George, again, is that day off Thursday, so everybody's getting an extra day.
Well, he gets the day off too, but again, Shashin is supposed to start on Sunday. So if he was to get an inning or 2 tonight, it would benefit him like a bullpen before he would make his start on Sunday. Plus, you have Rincon in your bullpen. That helps give other guys rest. Betcourt, all those other guys didn't pitch last night. Morales. So with a big lead like this, you get a kid that let him go back out there, Shashin, and let him get a little work into the game. There's Rincon. He made it in on a flight. They were at Reno. There's Shashin has made it in also. The AAA team was in Reno, and they'd actually had some bad weather. So there was some concern of whether they could get to the airport, get here, and land in time.
Yeah, they got here about 90 minutes before game time. Paul Phillips, for instance, did the batting practice out on the field. That's a splitter. See you later. That's 6 strikeouts in 5 innings for Ubaldo Jimenez. Rockies up 11-0.
Well, the Rockies got 3 in the first, 4 in the second, and then 4 in the third. They chased Edwin Jackson, who is the #2 starter in the Arizona rotation, an all-star last year with Detroit. Augie Ojeda's in the ball game now at second base for Kelly Johnson. Rockies up 11-zip. Todd Helton is 1 for 2 in a walk. Blaine Boyer hits the strike zone there. It's 1-1. Let's take a look at the Amica strike zone, or excuse me, hit zone. On Helton. Ball's driven to left field. Hara tracks it down. Again, you wonder if Jim Tracy will get some, get a break maybe for Tulowitzki, who's played every inning. Get a break for Helton. We'll see. If you would do it with Helton, you'd think he would come this next inning, because Todd's had 4 at-bats already. Just obviously got up there. And Tulowitzki, we often told you about Helton. It was like a fist fight to get him out of the lineup on the rare occasion in the past he wouldn't start. You treat him differently now. Todd's agreeable to it because of the back issue and being 36. Tulowitzki's like Helton, though. I mean, he does not want to ever come out, period. Outside, 2-0. You said something interesting to me earlier, George. He said, for a guy that always gets off to a slow start, you're hitting 300 coming into the ball game. And I said, doesn't feel like you're super hot, does it? He said, that's the amazing thing. I kind of feel like the other Aprils where I was hitting below 200. I really don't feel like I'm swinging the bat well, which is a good thing because I'm still hitting 300.
Well, the good part about it is I think even when he was hitting 260 early on, that was such a vast improvement over it. Allowed him to relax a little bit and then jump it up 40 more points of what it is. And when you have the sure confidence that he has at the plate and the ability that he knows he's going to succeed, it carries over. You can live with an 0 for 4. You've got another night to do damage.
2 for 2 in a walk tonight. He's got the average at 317. So got to get that swing going where I'm driving the ball to right center field. A delayed strike call.
Well, on the Southwest Sky Cam, let's take a look to see if that pitch was outside. The umpires love it when we give this shot. Did they give him one? Yep, might have. Just a little bit off of the plate. You can see why Tulowitzki thought it was a ball. Well, the last time Boyer went this deep, 45 pitches in a ball game, that's all the way back in June of '09 through 47.
3-2 on Tulowitzki with 1 out. Popped up and close to out of play. Now officially it's 6 rows back. This is the second game of 12 in a row for the Rockies inside the National League West. They'll spend 10 days in California beginning on Thursday night.
Well, Coors Field, a great place to bring you a group for an outing. 25 or more receive a discounted pricing, scoreboard recognition, and other great benefits. So call today at 303-ROCKIES for more information, or go online to ColoradoRockies.com and bring your group to the ballpark.
And down the left field line, another opportunity for a double for Tulowitzki, his 8th of the year. Guy doesn't feel great at the plate, George. He's doing pretty well.
Seeing a lot of pitches and seeing the ball extremely well. Those adjustments he made this spring, a little toe tap, and then here it goes. You look on the side swing, you'll be able to see there's the foot, and then everything just kind of stays back on it, adjusted to the breaking ball slider at 86.
There's Carlos Gonzalez. George, he has come up, and it's been like Times Square on New Year's Eve. Every time he looks out there, there's buddies of his all over the bases. 5 ribbies in his first 3 at bats. Former Cub Bob Howry getting loose. Outside, time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Carlos Gonzalez in the 2nd inning with 2 men aboard. A bullet to left center field. And one of the many great attributes of Carlos Gonzalez, he can really run. Triple. 2 RBIs there. It's a 1-1 count. Cargo already a career best 5 RBIs this evening. He's 6 for 10 with runners in scoring position. On Monday, Carlos Gonzalez, the Rockies had early batting practice in addition to regular batting practice. Carlos was out early. He obviously took regular batting practice, and in between he was working in the K's. Said, I want to get right again after a 1 for 9 doubleheader. Two balls, 2 strikes. Here's another text question. What will it take for Cargo to stay in the middle of the order? We are a better team with him there. It's Kyle and Glenwood Springs. Well, he's a dynamic player. And with Brad Hobbs healthy, he hits in the 5 hole, Tulowitzki 4. I think eventually he's going to bat in the 3 hole. There's a base hit. Tulowitzki is going to stop at 3rd.
Well, that's, you know what, this classy move by Richie Dower, because he held him up. He had to stop sign up regardless. Two things ugly can happen here. One, you score another run, you're rubbing it in somebody's face. The other, you've got a pretty strong arm in right field. You end up having a collision. This pitch right out over the middle of the plate. And a line drive base hit to right. You know, just no sense having an A or B happen there.
That'll be all for Blaine Boyer, who pitched for 3 clubs last year. Here comes Bob Howry. 11-0 Rockies, 1st and 3rd when we come back. Money's withdrawn every month from our bank account, and it gives you peace of mind knowing that down the road your kid's education will be funded. College Invest 529 plans. Check them out. Find them online at collegeinvest.org. Get started tomorrow. You can do it tonight, in fact. Miguel Olivo, with runners at first and third and one out, will be the first to face longtime veteran Bob Howard, a guy who's always taken great care of himself with the Giants last year. Held opponents to a 213 average a year ago.
I always liked him. I mean, he sees earned run average. He's been blown up a couple of times here early on, but somebody that's always had a pretty good arm. Run the ball in the mid-90s. Always had a pretty good slider. Shows it here early at 83 miles an hour. By the way, that double by Tulowitzki, that's his 8th, which puts him in a tie for second with Kelly Johnson here in Arizona, Prado of Atlanta, and then Worth. Leads everybody with 9 in Philadelphia.
In the air to Chris Young. Tulowitzki will tag, and he'll come home with the Rockies' 12th run. And Olivo has a 2 RBI night. Rockies catcher George with a dozen ribbies.
How about that to go along with 5 home runs? Nice job for Tulo. You saw Jim Tracy, a little conference there. Maybe his night will be over and give those legs a rest. He's had a busy one, a single and a couple of doubles.
Yeah, I'm guessing that Helton may be done. You may see Paul Phillips give Olivo a rest, because now, George, instead of splitting time,
you got to be careful running out that backup, though. That's the only problem. You're catcher in the 5th inning. I mean,
yeah.
that's the downside you got to look out for.
But Olivo's going to be catching.
Probably get tomorrow off.
Yeah.
Night day game. And you have Thursday off too, so you're going to have back-to-back days off.
Yeah.
Barmas will probably give it a shot and go to shortstop, is my thinking along those lines. Mora might go to first. Giambi to first, however they want to try to work it. Maybe put Mora out at third, give Stewart a little bit of rest. It's a danger zone. You know, when you only, oh, this will be fun.
Nice play. That's a great play by Mark Reynolds. He gets his counterpart, Ian Stewart. Rockies get another run, doubled by Tulowitzki. Gonzalez singled, Olivo a fly ball, 12-0.
available to anyone. Test drive it today. Rockies tomorrow afternoon right here on FSN. Then Thursday's travel day. And the Rockies begin the California swing. We'll be out west for 9 ball games. Our E470 road ahead. We go to the 6th inning. The Rockies leading 12-0. And for the first time this year, Troy Tulowitzki will have to watch. Clint Barmas is in at shortstop. We're speculating about health, but he's still out there. And Ubaldo misses to Stephen Drew. Ubaldo's pitch count, that's in there, is at 82. So, I mean, George, if you wanted to, assuming Ubaldo takes, what, 15 pitches, he'd be in that 95, 97 range, and
right.
you could move to the bullpen.
Absolutely. I mean, the bullpen has been unbelievable. You talked about what Ubaldo had accomplished. Well, his bullpen's been pretty special. Most relief innings pitched. Manuel Corpus was 16. That leads the National League. They have the best earned run average of any bullpen in Major League Baseball at 2.08. The lowest earned run average for a calendar month anywhere has been this month for the Rockies bullpen, 2.08. They had to go to 02 to have 2.45.
Ground ball to Stewart. That'll bring up Justin Upton and also take us to another text question. What are the red dots next to the Smith and Stewart? It's their name on the lineup. It's also elsewhere. Card in the dugout mean. Well, George, there's a way that managers and bench coaches
last out recorded a lot of times.
Yeah, last out recorded. Who's leading off the next inning? So there's 2 dots next to Stewart.
Well, see,
that means he recorded the last out, so they know who starts the next inning. And on 2 occasions that happened with Ian.
Yeah, and then you see this right here. It's 6th inning. Who's going to lead off the 6th? Drew. Rocky Smith.
That was a strike on the swing.
See down at the bottom there where Ojeda's name is scratched out, and as they go into a ball game, they place him over to the right hand where they are. You see Ojeda at the top for Johnson, straight across switch. Clint Barmas coming in for Tulowitzki. His name scratched off. He also do it down on the bullpen end of things. Make sure you keep track.
It's huge. When you get in a tight game late, there's been some matchups already. You want to know, all right, they have one left-handed bat left on their bench, or who do they have left in their bullpen?
Jim Tracy, Bob Apodaca discussing the fact of just what we've been talking about with Ubaldo. How far do you let him go into this ball game? He's got a 2-hit shutout to 5 in the 3rd inning, 6 innings planned. Plenty of work for Ubaldo.
Two. And that's low on Upton. 3-2. Upton, a ground ball to short and a strikeout. 0 for 14 in his career against Ubaldo Jimenez. Rockies have out-hit Arizona 14-2. Man, that's an easy play for Eric Young Jr. Time to check our Quest high-speed internet high-speed pitch. Edwin Jackson throws hard. Well, when Ubaldo Jimenez is on the hill, you're always going to play second fiddle. Ubaldo hit 99 on a number of occasions tonight. It's brought to you by Quest, the high-speed internet provider of the Colorado Rockies. Swung on and missed by Mark Reynolds. He's 0 for 2, a pop-out and a strikeout. Jimenez has struck out 6 tonight. Got 31 punch-outs on the season. Last 2 years, he's led the Rockies in strikeouts.
Now, 88-mile-an-hour slider, not particularly down in the zone where he wanted it, but it had a little bit of a movement to it. Swung on and missed. You kind of see that same swing pattern from Reynolds. Just stay out of that area and you got a pretty good chance.
That's the pitch Reynolds, the pitch that just missed high that he struck out on last time, that high heater. 1-2. See if he goes to a split here. That's what it was. Line drive. 1-2-3 inning in the sixth. 94 pitches in for Jimenez. He's been terrific. The Rockies offense terrific as well. Like freeze camp. Well, the Rockies have found the barrel quite frequently tonight. They have 12 runs on 14 hits. No home runs tonight, but plenty of doubles. Carlos Gonzalez threw out a triple. You get the picture. That was the Frostbrewed Coors Light freeze camp. Well, Ubaldo Jimenez gets a hug from his manager, Jim Tracy. So it looks like he'll go 6 innings of shutout baseball. He gives up just 2 hits, a fly ball double and a sharp single, 2 walks. He struck out 6. And now at the extra day off, you get the horse George, a night where he doesn't have to go out and throw 110, 115 pitches.
No, that's right. They give a little time off. Matt Daly's starting to throw down in the Rockies bullpen. That's where you get guys an inning of work. Daly's one of those guys who can work multiple days and not bother him.
This ball squared up to center field by Seth Smith. The crowd won't be happy to hear this. Ubaldo is gone as Melvin Mora will pinch hit. Repair that chip in your windshield. Call Safelite Elite Auto Glass 303-287-5000. Online at safelight.com. Right thing to do.
Sure it is. Get him out of the ballgame.
There's going to be days where you need him in the 8th and 9th inning. There's the big man getting ready. He's got a hat on. And Todd taking his glove and his bats. And he's going to watch from upstairs.
So, Jambi, have a nice time.
Two balls and a strike on Mora. I asked him today, I said, what's impressed you the most about now being around this clubhouse for the last 3 months, going back obviously to spring training? And then he said immediately, he said, the guys, said this is a real close-knit group. They really pull for one another. And he has a little expertise, having played a long time now in the big leagues. Haven't seen Melvin in a couple of days, George. You forget he's swinging the bat really well.
He has swung the bat well. Limited duty professional hitter.
2-2.
As you put a club together, it's great to be able to carry a young kid that can come up and pinch hit late in games, but you would prefer for that player to be in the minor leagues playing every day. But when you can afford to go out and get a player like Melvin, like Giambi, to come in and be a part of your club that's a professional hitter late in games, it's nice to have that on your roster.
Yeah. He's 5 for his last 11 at the plate. And this is going to die in Rusty Riles' glove. 1 out. That'll bring up Eric Young Jr. For Ubaldo Jimenez, the scoreless streak now at 22 1/3. And as Doug Marino pointed out, just 36 2/3 to go to eclipse Oral Hershiser's major league record of shutout baseball.
It's good to think about it. It's good to talk about it, right?
Joe, I want to point something out, and this comes up, every few years. Somebody goes on a run. Nobody's gone on a run like Ubaldo. It's the best by a starter. There's a base hit for Young. But it's not the Rockies' team record. You say, wait a second, what are you talking about? Gabe White, out of the bullpen, went 29 1/3 without allowing a run. That great year, George, I think it was 11-1 or 11-2 that season. That was back in 2000.
Did not lose a game at Coors Field.
$12 runs, season high for the Rockies. Dexter Fowler's 2 for 3 and a walk. He's got an RBI. EY Jr. is 4 for 6 since returning to the big leagues, and they haven't been scrap hits, George. They've been solid. Drive to the wall last night, sharp hits. Giambi's on deck for help. And here he cracks me up. He's one of the biggest, strongest guys in Major League Baseball, and he's so strong the hat doesn't even look like it fits his head. Crams on the hard hat and says, let's go to work. See, that looks like it's comfortable, right, on Dexter? That hat looks like it's comfortable. Then you look at Giambi, and it's like, all right, here we go. Dexter was fooled there. 2 outs. That'll bring up Jason. That misses. Smith at second. He's single, leading off the inning. Eric Young Jr. is at first. Big opening in the middle of the diamond, George, because Augie Ojeda swung over toward the first baseman, Ryle.
Well, even with runners first and second. Now, ball hit to the left side. If he just happened to be tardy on a fastball, just go to first. Obviously, you get the out because you're not going to have anybody at second base with the way this thing's set up. Full with 2 outs.
is made.
Wow.
By Parra. It's a nice running catch. He had to go a long way. Couple of hits, couple of men left aboard. We'll go to the 7th, 12-0 Colorado. Well, the Rockies were up 3-0 after one. They piled on in the second. Dexter Fowler with an RBI base hit. Todd Helton with his 4th RBI. And then Carlos Gonzalez, who had 5 RBIs tonight, or has 5 RBIs. He's still playing. A 2-run triple. Eric Young Jr.'s had a big night. The Rockies scored 11 times in the first 3 innings. They're up 12-0. All of that brought to you by Cooney Lexus, where luxury has an address. We'll see him in Littleton on Broadway. Melvin Moore is in the ballgame for Ian Stewart. He has not had a lot of time off this year, Stewart. Only one ball game where he has not started. Jason Giambi at first base naturally, and Paul Phillips is behind the plate for Miguel Olivo, and the new pitcher is Matt Daly. 6 spotless innings for Ubaldo Jimenez. George, he had no-hit stuff again tonight. There was the soft double. I say soft because there's a fly ball that dropped down the left field line in the right spot. Sharp single by Chris Young. That was it against Ubaldo tonight. 11th appearance for Matt Daly. 2 walks, 6 punch-outs for Jimenez. Now a Rockies record again for a starting pitcher, 22 1/3 scoreless innings. As long as the Rockies take care of business the final 9 outs, Ubaldo will go to 5-0 in the month of April. There's only been one other starter for the Rockies who concluded the month of April at 5-0. Actually, that's not true. May 9th, Mike Hampton.
Well, I was going to say, I can't remember anybody going 5-0 in April.
Yeah, so it's never happened.
Yeah, it has.
Till today. Here's a base hit for Ryle. Let's take a look at our Excel Energy fun fact for the evening. All right, most no-hitters. Nolan Ryan, of course, 7. Oldest to throw a no-no. Ryan did it when he was 44. Isn't that something? And the guys that have thrown more than 3, Ryan, Koufax threw 4, Cy Young, Bogfeller, Larry Corcoran, all 3. Longest gap between no-hitters, 14 years. Randy Johnson, the one in 04, was against Atlanta. It was a perfect game. And the shortest gap, Johnny Vandermeer. Consecutive starts. I don't even know if it was 5 days.
Could have been a 4-day. Yeah, four-man rotation, right?
Yeah. The second no-hitter was the first night game ever at Ebbets Field.
See, they also said, well, first night game lights were bad, but Cincinnati got 11 hits and 6 runs. So I guess they could see the ball. The other team couldn't.
Yeah. Did you know that you could sign up for an in-home energy audit and learn simple ways to save around your house from Excel Energy? Visit responsiblebynature.com to learn more. Chris Young, 1 for 2. Hit a strikeout. And then single left against Jimenez.
Tough games to pitch in. When you're used to coming out and pitching in pressure type situations, it makes it a little harder when you come out and you're in a game like this. You got to really get yourself amped up. 24,112 watched tonight's ball game. In a seat, there was a few other people that had a press pass that got to sit up and watch the game.
There's some students from Dave Platty's class at the University of Colorado. If you can't get an A in that class, George, you just got to go home and stop wasting mom and dad's money.
Does Platty even show up for class, or does he have like an intern come teach him?
I've spoken in his class before.
Is he there? Tell the truth.
Well,
see, there you guys are. So you can wave. See, wave. There you go. Yes, they're all here.
Do y'all have A's? Do you hear what I said? Dave's back there. If you can't get an A in your class,
something's wrong.
Young is gone. George, you know, when I was in college,
but you know, I want to ask you,
all I took was like microbiology.
Sure you did. Yeah, right. Okay.
You know,
well, I went to
molecular science.
Hey, I went to school at Oklahoma, when Barry Switzer's favorite line was he could keep a corpse eligible for 4 years.
Yeah,
I like that.
And you were close to that.
I love that school. But I want to figure this out.
This is par.
We need to ask Platty. Because the Minnesota girl's been back 2 nights in a row. Last night she had...
Well, she's in Larry Zimmer's class
Zimmer's class. Tonight she has 2 A's. She's telling Mom and Dad, I'm studying so hard. You will not believe how hard I'm studying.
I think Zim actually gives quizzes once in a while. Platty, I mean, there's not even a syllabus in Platty's class. There's 1, there's 2. See, that's a 6-4-3 double play. If you go back and repeat that tomorrow, you get bonus. You get an extra credit. 12-0. It's time for the Home Depot doing more on defense. This nice little turn.
Great double play. EY showing his versatility, getting around the bag and being able to complete it.
And, of course, Clint Barman's back at his original position. That's Home Depot doing more on defense. And the first pitch to Barmas misses, ball 1.
Abreu now at third base as the benches start to clear out.
Hey, you know what inning it is, George?
It is time for my Whopper.
That's right. It's the 7th inning, the Burger King Whopper inning. If Colorado hits a home run during the 7th inning, Burger King will offer a free Whopper with the purchase of a large drink the following day between 4 and 6 at participating restaurants only.
You know what? By the way.
I was getting inside. He's got it.
Long run. Who's going to take it? Bob's going to take it.
Power covers a lot of ground out there.
Yes, he does. Went out for extra batting practice today with Don Baylor and working on some hands, trying to get quicker to the baseball, trying to become more comfortable at home plate.
Carlos Gonzalez looks comfortable tonight. He's 3 for 4 with 5 RBIs, and honestly, had the score not been 11-0 in his last at bat, he probably would have 6 RBIs. He had a single with Tulowitzki at second. Tulowitzki would have scored probably, but Richie Dower, with the score what it was, gave him the stop sign.
Well, and rightfully so.
And that's another. Well, is he going to catch that? He's going to catch it. I was ready to give him his 4th hit of the night.
Hit it too hard.
Can you hit it any harder than that?
No.
2 outs, and Paul Phillips. Welcome back to the big leagues, Paul. Let's check in quickly with Mark Stout. Mark?
You guys remember when he came up last year, got to Detroit like in the 2nd inning? I talked to Paul Phillips today. He was on a plane in Reno, Nevada for a 7:40 a.m. flight today. So he, Jules Shishine, and also Juan Rincon were scheduled to fly out at 7:40 up at 4 a.m. 70-mile-an-hour winds. We're on the tarmac, came back. They got off the plane, got their bags, rechecked them, took different flights. Phillips got here first. The other guys got here after him at about 5:45, just in time for the game. So a crazy travel day for those 3 coming from the Sky Sox.
Yeah, that was a difficult travel day. That's going to be a 1-2-3 inning. And looking back on my scorebook, that is a first tonight for Arizona. 12-0. Well, you know what? There were a lot of hits. Here's Carlos Gonzalez down the right field line. The Rockies had back-to-back doubles. Here's the 3rd down the left field line for Miguel Olivo. Rockies went 4 for 7 against Edwin Jackson that 1st inning. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Juan Rincon, we're welcoming people back to the big leagues. Juan Rincon did a nice job for the Rockies last year. Started the year in Colorado Springs. He's back up.
Veteran guy, had pitched in 415 games for the Minnesota Twins prior to ever coming to the Rockies. So, I mean, he was 0-1 down there, but he had a number of saves down there. Juan Rincon, a hard-throwing right-hander. Get a little work here in a big league ball game. Up at 4 a.m. this morning and headed to the yard. It's a little easier to not sleep and pitch when you're on the way to the big league yard than it is going back the other way. Pretty excited.
Chris Snyder at the plate. And the 1-0 from Rincon is fouled back. Well, for each Colorado Hitler, excuse me, this is Elite Safe Light Auto Glass. You hear the crack, that's the windshield breaking. If you have problems with your windshield, call 303-287-5000 or go to safelight.com. High fly ball to left field, fairly deep, but not deep enough. Cole Gillespie is going to be the pinch hitter in the pitcher spot. Gillespie started last night, was 0 for 4. Greg Smith tomorrow against Chris Benson.
Yeah, that Chris Benson was with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Worked his way back to the big leagues. 70 and 75 overall record. He's 1-1 here in 2010. 3-2 career record versus the Rockies over 7 games he started against the Rockies.
One and two on Gillespie. Steven Strasburg, George, worked 5 innings in a minor league game tonight. Did not allow a hit.
Well, they're going to have to blow it up pretty soon. He's going to have to get that opportunity. They're trying to limit his innings, and I understand that philosophy, but that is a wonderful talent. You know what I don't understand? You know, you say I want to limit those innings, but he's gone 5-6 innings every time. Tough play here. He's going to have to get rid of it in a hurry. Going to be in time. Gillespie will get an infield single.
Here's another story you'll probably read about tomorrow. Bobby Cox, the venerable manager of the Atlanta Braves, in speaking about Albert Pujols, St. Louis beat Atlanta tonight 5-4. He said he's worth $50 million a year.
Bobby, just because you're retiring, you don't have to be the guy's agent. Come on.
Toward the hole, Eric Young Jr. fancy play. That was nice.
It's all about reaction, getting there and then timing the dive to knock the ball down. He's going to do that, kind of a slide pop-up and a snap throw to first base. A lot of guys will do this on a tough play, and he did that, and he did it nicely to get the out.
2 outs. Stephen Drew's 0 for 3. There is Jhoulys Chacin, who will start on Sunday in San Francisco. Slider for a strike on Stephen Drew. Let's take a look at Stephen Drew's Amiga hit zone.
Like a lot of guys, like the ball up out over the plate where they can extend their arms.
For each Colorado hit from now through the end of the season, Amiga Insurance will donate $10 to the Boys and Girls Clubs of Denver. Thank you, Amiga. I was talking to Matt Williams, who knows a thing or two about hitting the baseball. He's first base coach for Arizona, about Stephen Drew. And he said, you know, he really has a tremendous approach at the plate. And he hits lefties, too.
He's a great young player. You see why he's the #1 draft pick. And not only a great athlete at shortstop, but yet a very good hitter.
Two one out front a little bit. 2-2. strike three? No, just a bit off the corner. Now the 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Juan still got.
He's got a very good fastball.
Still good arm speed.
See how far off the plate this is on the Southwest Sky Cam. He did miss it. Not by much. A lot of times hitters will go ahead and swing. Except for guys like Drew, they have a pretty good eye on what they're trying to do.
3-2 again on Stephen Drew, and the slider misses. So Drew goes to first. That'll bring up Justin Upton.
Well, you're looking for a fun and unique place to hold a special event. Coors Field, many areas available for all kinds of events, including business meetings, cocktails, receptions, weddings, and a whole lot more. Please call 303 Rockies and set up your group to ballpark today.
Justin Upton, ground ball to short, strikeout, and a weak flare to second. That was against Ubaldo Jimenez. So Upton 0 for 15 now in his career matchups with Jimenez. You're not alone. Two-strike count. Boy, that was too good. He wanted that ball up, Paul Phillips, and that was center cut, and Arizona is on the board. So no shutout tonight for the Rockies. Upton with his 7th RBI. It is 12-1. You look at the replay. Look at where he wants his pitch, George.
He wants it above the hands, not down the middle of the plate and low. He's a very good low ball hitter, so he wanted everything up above the hands and riding fastball and more of a sinking fastball. Good hitters, you make mistakes, they'll make you pay for it. Arizona up on the board now with 5 hits in a run. Abreu with his first at bat in the game. 292 on the season for an average.
Up the middle, and Eric Young Jr. gets to the bag before Justin Upton. So in the inning, there was a walk, a couple of hits, and a run. 12-1 Colorado, middle of 8th. Has 6 shutout innings. He allowed just 2 hits. Rockies got him out of there with the big lead. Let's take a look at our Breaks Plus Take a Break poll of the game. Remember the question? So if you were playing baseball, were you a head first slide person or a feet first slide person? I don't think I've ever quite put it that way, but you know what I'm talking about. And oh, we got half and half pretty much. 49% go head first, 51% feet first. I don't know what that says about you, but those are the results. Cohen getting a swing the bat.
Well, follow the Rockies on your iPhone, iPod Touch, BlackBerry, or Android phone with MLB.com. At 2010, featuring video highlights and a whole lot more. Visit ColoradoRockies.com on your phone to purchase.
Aaron Heilman's the new pitcher, George. Came up with the Mets. He's out of Notre Dame. Big arm. Went to the Cubs. He has never really fulfilled the great promise, though.
Had tough time against left-handers because that sinker seems to fade back over the middle of the plate. And you know, when he continually tries to pound the slider, or I should say that sinker, in on left-handers instead of just not even worried about it. Just keep everything down and away, and you see the 188 average. Obviously, he's handled left-handers this year. Right-handers have given him the most difficulty, but in his past, left-handers really hard on him. Good hard sinker down and away.
He came up as a starting pitcher. He was a first-round pick back in 2001 by New York. That selected him 18th overall. He had Tommy John surgery in 06. Actually, let me correct that. It wasn't Tommy John surgery. It was an elbow cleanup. And the only reason I know that, George, is that he threw in 81 games for the Mets in 07. That was his best year. He had a 3.03 ERA. And there's no way he had surgery in October and threw 81 games in 07.
And that would have been pretty hard to do.
Last year with the Cubs, 70 ball games, 4-4 with a 4.11 ERA. First team All-American at Notre Dame. Long run for Drew, and the dive. Wow,
what
did he make that catch?
Yes,
He did.
You better
Oh, wow.
believe it.
What a catch by Parra, who has made several terrific plays tonight. 2 long running catches, but none better than that. What an effort by Gerardo Parra.
Yeah, the fans here at Coors Field appreciate a nice play defensively. They gave him a little bit of a standing ovation down the left field line. He's trying to check, get his breath back together. He's going to dive, dive. Got it.
That's a fair ball also, George. See where he caught that?
Tough play. He's going to get out and go to the outfield. The trainer started to come down and check on him. Very nice play.
Second time tonight, Smith's been robbed. Otherwise, he's got a 4-hit night. That replay brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. From now until June 30th, replay any of your non-winning scratch tickets in a second chance drawing. Enter your tickets at coloradolottery.com. 2 outs. Melvin Morris second at bat. He's been at third base since the 7th inning. Actually, the 6th inning. He hit the bottom of the 6th inning. Pop up down the first base line. Rockies tonight, 12 runs on 16 hits. One and one. Baldo Jimenez getting to enjoy the game from the dugout with his friends. I know who has a lot of fun also on the nights that Ubaldo pitches, George. Aaron Cook, because Aaron pitches 2 days after after Ubaldo. So the guy who's 2 days out, as you know, George, charts the pitches. And that has to be a lot of fun. I've talked to Aaron about it. You know, he's just watching one of the best pitchers in the game who's got filthy stuff.
And a lot of it you do up off the TV. You're not necessarily down in the dugout. In the minor leagues, you set up in the stands with everybody and do it out of there. But in the big leagues, you go down and sit in the video room. You watch all the different moves with it.
And Aaron, who's obviously quite an accomplished pitcher himself, he said even he gets fooled sometimes. You know, George, we sometimes is that the split or was it a circle change? Because he has so many pitches. Even Aaron Cook sometimes is not positive on one of those off-speed pitches at 88, 90 miles
Aaron,
an hour.
don't feel bad because the hitters aren't either.
No, they have no idea. And this is popped up right side of the diamond. Rusty Ryle puts his hands up. And the Rockies go in order in the 8th inning. We go to the top of the 9th inning. Rockies need 3 outs to make it official. 12-1. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 1-800-COMCAST. By Dex One, marketing solutions, business results. By Geico, 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Burger King, home of the Whopper. Yeah, the state capitol a few blocks away. The Rockies making all of the entire state proud. They're up 12-1 tonight as we go to the top of the 9th inning. A happy post-game report to follow. Here's Tom Helmer with more of the details. Tommy.
And we've come up with some great stuff tonight, Drew. What do you think of this? Thanks for nothing. Ubaldo Jimenez continued his scoreless streak and raising Arizona, but we spelled it the way like lowering. Get it?
I got it.
Raising Arizona.
I got it.
And of course, we'll be in the clubhouse. My brother Mark Stout with the matching jacket will be down there getting
post-game. How come you're not dancing? You got to be dancing. There's 12 runs on the board.
They were actually playing the twist out here. I should have been. I just feel like it would be salting the wound at this point. It's 12-1. It's overkill, isn't it?
Fans love to see you dance.
You know what? Hey, Helmer, that's smart because you were abiding by proper etiquette. You start dancing, next time you go to Arizona, they're going to throw at you.
Exactly. So that's why I've got to be careful. But I will tell you, Drew, it's dance week in San Francisco. So that'll give you a little hint as to what direction Tom and the town's going to go when we're in the Bay Area. So you're going to see some moves this coming weekend.
I cannot wait for the next installment of Tom on the Town. Are you bringing your little buddy with you?
Tavis?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He's always with. You know, I used to have to force him. Now I can't stop him.
He's a big star now.
He's a big star, and he demands to be on every single Tom of the Town. So I don't think I can shake him at this point.
I understand.
Tom, get prepared. We'll try to get some things going. I know you got the Cowboy and Harry out there with you. We'll watch Yolis Shashin pitch the 9th inning. He has been very special in his starts at Colorado Springs. The hard slider, good curveball. He's starting to mix some pitches up. 3 of 5 starts is not allowed to run.
Tonight's game reset is brought to you by Ecotech Institute in Denver, where you can make the world your workplace. You know, the Rockies 12 runs, 16 hits. That speaks volumes, and they limited Arizona to 1 run on 5 hits. Edwin Jackson had a forgettable evening. I'm guessing, I don't know this officially, George, but I'm guessing that's the worst outing of his big league career.
Well, I mean, you know what? Here's what you do. Because if this was 5 years ago when he was 20, you'd be really concerned. But at his age and what he's been through and an all-star, you know, hey, take a shower, wipe it off, and look for your next start. You're done with it. Had a bad outing. Got it out of my way. I'll go to the next spot.
It's off the end of the bat. Dexter has the second out. Chris Young's retired. George, you're talking about Chassin. He'll start on Sunday in San Francisco. Nice little tune-up, get your feet wet again at the big league level.
He needs this. And again, you need this just because I had a start at the end of spring training, did not pitch very well. You go down to AAA, pitch extremely well, and earn the promotion up here. And now you're getting an opportunity to come in and show people what you can do. And it's obvious you need to pitch well while you're here.
Gerardo Parra, who's had a great night defensively, offensively 0 for 3. Well, it's another reason, as that's in there for a strike, that man does not leave a stone unturned. He thinks of everything. And as he set up for his bullpen late in the ball game of a blowout win, he's like, you know what, I want to get Chassin out there. And it could help, you know, 4 days from now, 5 days from now.
Well, you hope it does. You know, you hope that it helps him get under control a little bit. 3-0, 164, 21 in the third innings, just 4 runs given up in Colorado Springs. Going with the slider, trying to get the punch out. It backed up on him at 83.
That's a pretty good slider. Two and two. 22-year-old Jhoulys Chassin. And Young didn't come up with it.
A little softball hit right at EY, just a couple of steps over, and then when it go to backhand,
he looked like
unfortunately
he
didn't hit well there.
George, it looked like his spike slipped. Watch his footwork here. Right before that. So here's Chris Snyder. Oh, and 2. Just low. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the ninth. 12-1, Colorado. Snyder held up. It's 3-2. injuries to De La Rosa and Hamill. Some young guys are going to have to step forward. This guy on the mound being one of them.
Well, the opportunity's there, that's for sure. Ismael Rogers, he may get a chance down the road too. Come up and show what you can do. It's been advertised that you're the next generation of these starting pitchers starting to flow through the Rockies organization. So, now it kind of goes to that baby period where it was last year, where you relieved in some games. You got one start against Pittsburgh, nervous, walked too many people. 5-6 months later, a little bit of winter ball, more maturity, better results.
And here's the 3-2 again from Chacin. He's got 2 punch-outs in the inning. The Rockies dominate 12-1 over Arizona tonight. They got after Edwin Jackson early and often, and they had the Chief on the mound, and he was in charge. 6 innings for Ubaldo Jimenez. He allowed just 2 hits, no runs, running his scoreless streak to 22 1/3. The player of the game is brought to you by Granger, for the ones who get it done. Ubaldo Jimenez, he threw only 92 pitches. The Rockies got him out a little bit early tonight after working deep into his last couple of ball games. One of those, of course, being the no-hitter in Atlanta. Another terrific performance by Jimenez, who improves to 5-0. He is something else. Our Granger player of the game. Jimenez 5-0, Jackson 1-2.